Aerys II, the young dragon, hope before madness. When King Jaehaerys II Targaryen died, the Iron Throne passed to his only surviving son, Aerys. The realm, weary from loss, looked upon the new king with cautious hope. He was young, handsome, clever, and full of dreams. He spoke of rebuilding the glory of House Targaryen, of restoring dragons through wisdom, not fire. The lords of Westeros saw in him a spark of the ancient kings, the promise that the blood of Valyria still ran hot in his veins. For a time it seemed the age of peace might return. On the crown and the queen, Aerys had wed his sister Rhaella as his father had decreed. They were both children of tragedy, survivors of Summerhall's flame. In their youth they had been close and playful, full of laughter, but the Iron Throne has a way of changing hearts. When Aerys wore the crown, his tenderness began to fade. He grew distant, restless, consumed by visions of destiny. Yet he and Rhaella bore a child, a son born under storm and smoke, Rhaegar Targaryen. For a brief time the king looked upon his newborn with pride and said, "He shall be the prince who was promised." As a king in his hand. In his early reign, Aerys surrounded himself with capable men. Foremost among them was Tywin Lannister, whom he named Hand of the King. Together they brought prosperity to the realm. Tywin ruled with precision and iron discipline, while Aerys dazzled the court with charm and eloquence. The two men, though different in nature, were a perfect balance, the hand of logic, the king of vision. Under their rule, roads were built, trade flourished, and for the first time in years the realm prospered. Songs called it the bright reign, but brightness never lasts forever. Oh, shadows of pride. As Tywin's reputation grew, so did Aerys's envy. The lords whispered that the true king sat not upon the Iron Throne but beside it, and in those whispers madness found its voice. Aerys began to see betrayal in every glance, mockery in every smile. When Tywin's wife, Joanna Lannister, gave birth to twins, Jaime and Cersei, Aerys jested cruelly, hinting that her beauty should have been born for a king. Rhaella wept that night. It was said that from that moment the queen's chambers were locked to all but her maids. The turning point. Slowly, Aerys withdrew from council. His moods grew wild, one day brilliant, the next consumed by rage. He dismissed good men and elevated flatterers. Even Tywin, his most loyal hand, could not reach him. The king who had once dreamed of peace now began to dream of power, not the kind built with faith, but the kind sustained by fear. He is a prince of promise. Amid this growing storm, Prince Rhaegar became the realm's hope. He read, studied, and trained until dawn, his silver hair catching the first light of every morning. The small folk adored him. The lords respected him. Even Aerys, in his saner days, saw greatness in his son, though that admiration would one day curdle into jealousy. In the corridors of the Red Keep, servants whispered, "The son is the song the father could never sing." And perhaps for a while it was true. The king of two faces. For the realm, the early years of Aerys's reign were a time of promise. But for those closest to him, shadows had already begun to gather. He smiled for the court, but his eyes burned too brightly. He spoke of peace, yet dreamed of fire. No one yet dared call him mad. Not yet, but the line between brilliance and madness is thin, and the Iron Throne cuts all who sit upon it.